Okay, we're going to call tonight's meeting to order, and if able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pape,
Here.
Councilmember Shavetta,
Here.
Councilmember Kozmeyer,
Here.
Councilmember Hands,
Here.
Councilmember Caldwell,
Here.
Councilmember Leahy,
Here.
Councilmember Ryder,
Here.
Councilmember Silvers,
Here.
Councilmember Yodrich.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item up is public items. Members of the public are encouraged to use this time to make comments about matters that do not appear on the agenda. Comments about items on the regular agenda will be taken as each item is considered. Please note individuals making public comments will be limited to 5 minutes. In accordance with governing bodies' rules and procedures, the city reserves the right to refuse public comments that are personal, impertinent, or slanderous. I had no one sign up on our sheet, but that does not preclude you from coming forward at this time if you have a public comment. Please come forward, sir. Give your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Billy Crone, 6633 Wedge Street. There will be a work session following this meeting to discuss single hauler. A lot of neighbors are really excited to hear what the city is doing about that. So I'm kind of sad to hear that that's going to happen upstairs where the city's camera and microphones are off and citizens won't be able to see that on the city's website and the city's YouTube channel. If they search on YouTube after this date, they will be able to find a recording. If they search for Merriam work session city council, as you guys will as well, because I'm going to try to record that to share with neighbors. Hopefully the audio comes out okay. I know it's kind of noisy up there, and no city council person is actually facing the public in that room, which is not ideal. But I'm glad the discussion is going to happen nonetheless, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crone. Anyone else want to come forward this evening? Okay, I see no one else coming forward. I'll close out the public items. Next item up is the consent agenda. All items listed under this heading are considered to be routine by the City Council, may be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately, considering we only have one item on the agendas. Anybody have any discussion of that? I see no discussion of that. I would entertain a motion. Mr. Silvers.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that the council approve consent agenda item number 1.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Ms. Yodrich.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Shavetta,
Aye.
Councilmember Kozmeyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Hands,
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell,
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy,
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder,
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers,
Aye.
Councilmember Yodrich.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item up is the mayor's report, at which time I have a proclamation from 7 Days of Kindness Week that I would like to read. Whereas 7 Days Make a Ripple, Change the World is an annual series of events demonstrating how hatred, bigotry, and ignorance can be overcome by kindness, respect, and understanding. And whereas 7 Days commemorates the lives of Dr. William Corporon and his grandson, Reed Underwood, and Teresa Lamano, who were murdered on April 13, 2014, by encouraging all people to discover commonalities and overcome evil acts with kindness. And whereas 7 Days 2025 is March 31 through April 8th and focuses on kindness through activities with the daily themes of love, discover, you, others, connect, go, and onward. And whereas Merriam is committed to being a community where kindness is key and understanding paramount, and strongly supports a partnership with a worthy outreach effort by conducting 7 Days of Kindness activities. Now therefore I, Bob Pape, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of Merriam, Kansas, do hereby proclaim March 31 to April 8th, 2025 as 7 Days of Kindness Week in the city of Merriam. I encourage all residents, businesses, organizations, and visitors to come together to be more understanding of differences and act more kindly to others, thereby making the world a better place, one ripple at a time. proclaimed on the 24th day of March, 2025, by Pape Mayor. And in our audience this evening, we have Stephanie O'Sullivan, who is a board member of 7 Days, and I will be bringing this proclamation down and giving it to her in a second. But if you come forward to the podium, I'd give you a moment to say a few words,
here.
Stephanie.
Okay. Hi, thank you, Mayor and the City Council, for the proclamation. I'm Stephanie O'Sullivan. I'm representing 7 Days as a board member. I'm also a leader at Advent Health, and I'm a believer in the power of kindness. And like you mentioned, our mission is to overcome hate through education and dialogue, and we're promoting our Week of Kindness from March 31st through April 8th. Also, I invite all of you to attend our Kindness Breakfast that's on Wednesday, April 2nd at the Church of the Resurrection. If you'd like more information about that, you can find it on the website at 7days.org. Also, I brought some resources here for you today. Maybe I can leave those with you, and some stickers and kindness cards. There's some bookmarks that have some great adult reading about kindness on there. And I just want to say we really appreciate Merriam's kindness to its community, all the things that you do with Parks and Rec and support for the arts and community engagement. So thank you so much for being kind. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. If you
yeah.
want to wait right there, I'm going to come down and give you the
Okay,
proclamation.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. This way? Okay.
Oh, you step on your foot, sorry about that. You have them both phones? or-
He's gonna send it.
You're gonna send it?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
we're good.
all right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Here, I'm gonna leave.
Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, a couple other things in the mayor's report, and then we'll get right to it. I always like to say a little bit about what I or other council members have done. I didn't have an opportunity to speak to all the council, so please speak up at the end if I missed you. But I attended the Johnson County, Wyandotte County Mayor's Dinner. It was hosted by the next Mayor Sayers at their new Justice Center. Very nice facility. We got to take a tour of it. I and a councilman met with Mr. Engel to put together tonight's agenda. I attended a Zoom meeting of the Johnson County Transit Strategic Planning Group. Lots of ideas were discussed to improve on routes, increase ridership. Some consolidation of routes was discussed, and reducing wait times was important. Recommendations to the county commissioners will be forthcoming. I attended a Flags for Freedom Committee meeting. Lots of great ideas were discussed. We'll be stepping up a notch this year with band, food, other involvements of other groups. So exciting times to happen to July 4th. Several council members attended the Public Art Committee. We appreciate that. They have narrowed the applicants down, my understanding, to 3, and eventually get to 1 to make a recommendation for the city council. So did anyone else do some things I forgot I mentioned? Okay. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Hans.
I went to the Women's Business Breakfast with some Merriam businesswomen. It was quite delightful, and our friend Meredith Houck was our special speaker. It was delightful.
Great. Thank you for attending. Okay, well, that's all oh, go ahead, Ms. Yadrich.
Jacob and I went to NLC, Washington, D.C.
Oh, my gosh, I missed that.
Yeah.
That was since the last meeting, wasn't it? It was during the meeting that
It
you were
was,
there.
yeah.
So that's why you were gone. Yes, we missed you
Good.
guys, though.
Yes.
Okay.
We focused specifically on affordable housing, as well as making sure that federal funding still comes to projects in Kansas that especially are already in progress, that are intergovernmental partnerships with federal
Any
government.
updates on that, or for?
You're cute. No, there were none of those.
Just thought I'd check.
No,
but-
no, but at least one of our senators was really responsive to a lot of our questions.
Okay, thank you guys for attending that and representing us. Okay. Anything else? Okay, all right. Well, let's move right along then to council items. First one up is consider approval of the purchase of a 2025 international, well, I'll just let you tell about it, Director.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Our 2025 budget includes replacement of two plow trucks for the Public Works Department. The current trucks were purchased in 2009 and have reached the end of their life cycle as a frontline unit. Our Fleet Superintendent, Ross Davis, who is in the audience tonight and ready to answer any of your technical questions, recommends purchase of an international cab chassis from Rush Truck Center of Missouri. That would be purchased through a cooperative bid. He also researched dump bodies, dump spreader bodies, and recommends the Buyers MDS, which is a little different than what we've used in the past. This actually incorporates a salt spreader into the dump bed, which will remove the need for a separate spreader. So we're really excited about that. The total cost for both dump trucks with plow and warning light equipment is $525,646.80. And when we got the quotes, we talked about tariffs with the manufacturers. They're concerned about that. So based on our discussion, we requested that they give us, to the best of their knowledge, what would be a maximum tariff cost. And the chassis, they're indicating a potential of up to 10% on both chassis and up to 25% on the warning light equipment. So that would be a total of $25,523.30 in tariffs. So we're recommending that council approve the purchase of this equipment in an amount not to exceed $551,170.10, which would also include the tariffs. So if there are tariffs, the city will only pay the actual cost of the tariffs at the time of build, and we'll have the option to cancel the purchase if for some reason it's a lot higher. So the equipment and vehicles was under budget, but if we approve the budget with tariffs costs, that would exceed the budget by $11,170.10. And there are adequate funds available from the contingency in our budget to cover this overage. I'd be happy to answer any questions, as well as Ross Davis.
Any questions for Director Kumke? Okay, go ahead. Ms. Schmidt.
I know tariffs are a mess. So I assume if we approve this evening, we will place an order within the next few days, week, and then are we subject to that tariff price? Like, have they said, like, even if it's not built by this date, we'll be subject to that tariff still, or do they even know?
And I may have Ross give me all the details, but once we order it, and then at the time when they're ready to build it is when the tariffs would go into effect. Do you want to add anything to that?
What's the lead time on that?
Chassis are 4 to 6 months. So that's the real big one. The chassis take the longer to build. Everything else should get started building right away.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Do you have a picture? You always bring pictures. Thanks,
He's well
Ross.
trained.
So if we get this ordered, when do you anticipate delivery of the units?
Plenty of time for snow.
Yeah, before the snow, okay. Okay, did you have a question, Mr. Silvers? Oh, no, this way. Oh, Mr. Sands, go ahead.
I'll wait.
Okay.
I actually had two questions. One, just to confirm that this was a budgeted purchase. It was in the budget and expected.
Correct.
And then my second question is, it kind of goes along with Stacy's question. I'm sure you all receive sales sheets for all of these items. Would it be possible to include those in the packets in the future?
They're actually in the package.
The actual, like, images of the, like, the actual sales sheets, images, and
Oh, yes.
that'd be
A
great.
picture of the
Yeah,
equipment.
just so,
Okay.
I Googled it, but it'd be nice to know if I was Googling the actual
Okay,
product that we were purchasing.
sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Colo.
Yeah, just curious, how many of these trucks do we have?
Currently, we have 5.
5? Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Sands?
And then following up on the numbers, why is it then that we do 2 at once? I understand we bought them both in 2009, but is there any opportunity for staggering, or is there efficiency in having 2 that are alike?
Similar systems because they upgrade all the time. So like right now, we have 3 trucks that have one system and these other 2 trucks have a different, and we're going computerized, so they upgrade, they act different, so the spacing together helps it
So it is more
Operators
efficient.
control them better.
Sure. Okay, thanks.
And then we also look at, our equipment fund and look at our costs and try to make sure that we're not purchasing a lot in one year versus another. So we kind of balance that, and Ross does a good job of that.
Mr. Silvers, did you have something?
Yeah, thank you. Now that I've seen these photos, I have another question. So this is a dedicated salt spreader truck? Because it looks like it has a conveyor in the bed,
It does, but there's a plate that attaches to it.
so it can be used for when we do large items and other things?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Leahy.
Are we going to get to name these again this fall?
Trying to think, yeah, we haven't named those plows yet, so yes, no.
One a year.
Anyone else? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Eldridge.
This is a question about the tariffs in general, but as we put things out to bid, are we starting to see the bids increase in number as they come back due to tariff fear? And
I don't think we have yet, but, as we see.
This is the first one?
This, yeah.
Okay.
But I know that you mentioned the police cars, that there's another concern whenever we purchase that about tariffs.
There's a hold on that as far as they won't put pricing out because they're not.
police cars are on hold,
The majority of them, yes,
Yeah.
especially if they come from.
because I know we go through that pool to purchase them.
Yes, they came out with pricing for all that in, I believe, December. They got it approved in January.
Yeah,
So all that pricing was pre all of this, and so I know if they're made, I think we're looking to get like a couple EVs that are made in Mexico. So they won't give us pricing on those until, because I think they're solely made in Mexico, like batteries, motors.
got it. And then as far as construction costs go, we haven't seen any of
We haven't yet.
yet. Okay, great. And we're already dipping into contingency for those things potentially.
For this item, yes.
Cool. Thanks.
Mr. Leahy, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for outlining and line iteming the tariff, not knowing what it may be coming forward. Do we expect to see that probably for the foreseeable future, that we get the tariff as a line item so that we know if it is in place when we order, or if it's in place when we fabricate it or accept delivery or whatever the case may be, and we just have to accommodate that in our budget?
Yes, and we'll be talking to all the manufacturers, like a construction project. We're not seeing that because they'll start right away, but this equipment, since it has such a lead time, that's kind of the uncertainty. But yes, we will pay attention and talk to manufacturers and try to make sure that we're including that cost.
I also want to make sure, thank you for explaining that and outlining it.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Shaveda.
Sorry, one more tariff question, because I've been dealing with this in my other job. Are they outlining them as a separate line item, or are they just saying this went up this much? Or like, are you asking for, not specific to just this, but like future too? Are we going to ask for like a line item of like, it went up because of the steel cost or whatever?
And feel free to add, but I'm assuming once there is a tariff, it'll be included on the line item automatically. This one was like, we're anticipating that it
Right.
could happen, so we went ahead and asked that.
I've had suppliers just like flat feet, like this is what it's going up, and we don't, like there's no transparency, so I was just hopeful that we were getting some transparency in it. So.
Do you have anything to add on that?
With the chassis, with the ones we're dealing with now, if we ask, they will give us what the increase was for and actually documentation and everything for it. But as far as the vehicles, I don't know if we're just gonna get increased prices, but we have base prices for all this, so we can kind of pull some of that out from there.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you fielding all the tariff questions. We know you're not tariff experts. We just want to be clear that our budgeting has been accurate, but this is impacting our government.
Yes,
Thank you.
and thanks to Ross for tracking all that down. Thanks, Ross.
Okay, no other questions. I would entertain a motion for this item. Ms. Haynes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the council approve the purchase of two 2025 International HV 507 chassis, two buyers MDS dump spreader bodies, and warning light equipment, in an amount not to exceed $551,170 $551,170.10.
The 10 cents. Go ahead, Ms. Shadrich.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Cosmeyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Yodrich.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It looks like we got Director Kumke at the podium for item number 2.
Well, I know you've heard a lot about the 49th Street Schweitzer to Antioch project. We're really excited about it. It's getting closer to beginning construction. Just a reminder, it's a 2-inch mill and overlay, replacement of curb and gutter, pavement markings, stormwater improvements, a new sidewalk on both sides of the street, and replacement of existing sidewalk, and bike lanes on the south side of the street from Knox to Antioch. So the project was bid in February and includes the bid and a bid alternate. And the bid alternate includes replacement of up to 9 gravel driveways as part of the driveway grant program. So we opened bids from 6 contractors, and Amino Brothers Construction, Inc. was the low bidder. The total bid with bid alternate is $2,866,714.50. We reviewed the bids and recommend approving the contract with Amino. I understand that Amino hasn't done any work in Merriam, but I've worked with them in other cities, so we're recommending their approval. A little update on the project. Water One started a water main replacement. They're going to be replacing the water main from Knox to Antioch, and they're working between Benson and Antioch right now, so there will be a lane drop for eastbound traffic. Then they'll move farther west. We also have Kansas Gas starting tomorrow, starting from Schweitzer, moving east, and they won't be under pavement. They'll be out in the right-of-way, but not under pavement. As far as land acquisitions, we have 56 of 69 tracts approved. We have 13 left, and working with our land acquisition attorney as well as the city attorney they filed the ordinance in district court, and we should be having a hearing soon, and we should have those easements acquired by no later than June 1st. So I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
I have a question.
Okay.
I hate to show my ignorance, but I haven't been riding my bicycle lately, but considering we only have one bike lane on the south side, do all bikes go, I mean, normally you ride with traffic. Will they be riding against traffic and using that bike lane? I know I got some bicycle riders up here. How does that work?
So it is a little different to only have one bike lane, but they will only, eastbound traffic will use the bike lane, and then westbound traffic, bike traffic will not have a bike lane. They will have sharrows to indicate that is a bike route, but we couldn't do it on both sides because there's a lot of parking on the street. So we didn't want to take away the parking on the street, and parking isn't typically allowed in a bike lane. So it's protected eastbound and open westbound.
So there'd be Cheryl's going the other direction then?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Cosmeyer.
And the side with the bike lane, I believe, is the side that's generally going uphill, right?
It's on the east side. Well, it'll go up and down, but.
Okay. Because I know some of in the bike plan a couple of years ago, some of the streets that were getting a bike lane on just one side, it would alternate sides based on which one is going uphill or downhill.
So it was selected, there's a fair amount of duplexes, and so there's a lot of parking there, and so we selected it based on the east side.
Any other questions, Director Gumpke? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Cosmeyer.
I've got one more about the land acquisition. Did you hear any more from any of the people that you weren't able to get in touch with as of the last meeting?
Yes, I think, and I can't remember the exact amount, but yes, they're slowly trickling in. So I want to say it was 40 something we had before, and now we have 56, so.
Good. Go ahead, Mr. Silvers.
Do those landowners have a chance to negotiate with you even after a court date has been established, or after the court date's been set, it has to go through that process?
I don't know when the exact, but I think it's when, and the city attorney can correct me, but once the appraisals are in, I mean, up to that point, I think we can negotiate that.
So they can negotiate, court sets a hearing, the appraisers come in, they have their hearing, then they enter an award, then the appellant, or pardon me, the landowner can actually decide if they want to appeal it to district court. At any point in that entire process, they can even go to a jury trial on it a year and a half from now. At any point in that process, they can negotiate a sale price.
Okay, any other questions for Director Krupke? Okay. Well, with that, I would entertain a motion for this. Shadrich.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the council approve a contract with Amino Brothers Construction, Inc. for the 49th Street, Schweitzer to Antioch Street improvement projects in the amount of $2,866,714.50.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Good, Mr. Cosmeyer.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Yodrich.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Councilmember Cosmeyer.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Oh, looks like we got our Finance Director coming to the podium for our finance report.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. So as of February, the City of Merriam's financial position remains very stable with no highlighted concerns. You will see a memo in front of you that couples with the monthly report like I promised. Currently, all of our expenditures are trending well below the budget and what we would anticipate, which is great. You will see in there, though, like I spoke on during the last monthly report, that for sales and use tax, you're going to see zeros. That will only be until next month. So just a reminder, sales and use tax lags about 2 months to get to us. So we will see January's and March's report. So when I report to you next month, those numbers should look a lot better, and we'll be able to speak a little bit more on the revenues and how we're doing there. Any questions?
Do we have any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, well, let's see, moving on. We had a Public Art Committee minutes were in our packet. Is everybody okay with those? Any questions for Director Slocum? No? Okay. Well, do we have anything from staff? Mr. Engel?
No, sir.
Nothing from staff. My understanding is we have an executive session, okay, and you
Yes,
need
sir.
1 hour at that point. Okay, well, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session. Ms. Hans?
Yes. I move that the governing body recess into executive session pursuant to KSA 74-4319B2 for the purpose of discussing possible development terms for a real estate development, which includes consultation with legal counsel on matters that would be deemed privileged in an attorney-client relationship. Present will be the city attorney, city administrator, assistant city administrator, community development director, finance director, and bond counsel. The meeting will reconvene in the council chambers at 8:30.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Ms. Shadrich?
Mr. Mayor, I second.
Okay, we have a motion second. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Yodrich.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Councilmember Cosmeyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
And just for the record, there will be a work session following our coming back in 1 hour upstairs as well, so anyway, if you want to stick around and come back for that, you're welcome to do so.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Go ahead, Ms. Shveta.
Mr. Mayor, I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.